Radio Raheem here with Ricky, the Hitman Hatton, still dressed for the part, man. You look like you come here to knock somebody off, looking rather spiffy right here. And you're presenting fighters now. You've got a little stable of your own. Lucas Brown is going for a big fight Saturday night. With all the experience that you've had, all the big events that you've been a part of, how do you counsel the fighters that are in your stable now?
Yeah, I've got some great. They're all unbeaten prospects. You know, I trained my first champion, trained and promoted my first world champion in Xander Zakianov, who won the WBA bantamweight super title. He's retired now from the sport. I've got a load of unbeaten prospects coming up. I've got Lucas Brown, the former heavyweight champion of the world. So, you know, I'm doing a good job. I don't have one of the, you know, the biggest stables in the world, such as, you know, your matchrooms and but I mean, I've got a nice, good little team around me, all unbeaten prospects. I've got a good young heavyweight who's 12 unbeaten, 10 knockouts, who's sparred with Lucas, and you know, so it's going good. You know, I had a wonderful career, which gave me a wonderful life, and if I can pass that type of thing on to what some other youngster coming through, that's what it's all about for me.
Now, Lucas says himself, his whole big chance is his money punch, if you will, the big shot. He's looking to knock him out either in the first or in the 12th, but he's looking for that one big shot. You face your share of crafty fighters as well. What's your advice to him on how to get that shot in?
My advice has been, you always look for the big one, you never get it in. You know, and that's happened in so many fights. It's what you get taught the first time you walk through the door. So he's got to learn how to disguise that shots with a few little subtle moves and a few little changes, a few more feints, and stuff like that. But ultimately, his power is his main asset. But you load up and you go for that big one. Your opponent can see it coming a mile away, and you never get it in. So he knows it's not as simple as getting that big one in. There's things he's got to do in order to get it in. Yeah, and that's what he's been working on.
You're a sensation in the United Kingdom, of course, and you're very well known in the States as well. There's not a lot of fighters who can say as much. So since we don't get that often to talk, I'd like to pick your brain a little bit about what's happening on the other side of the pond. For instance, in the 147 division, we've got a lot of fighters kind of vying for that crown to be number one. Do you pay much attention to that division anymore? Who do you think is the best?
I don't really pay much attention at the minute. I fell out with boxing when I had to retire. I fell out with boxing for such a long time for obvious reasons. It's well documented the problems that I had. I got really, really depressed with dealing with retirement. So I tend to look at the division which my fighters are in. But you got Danny Garcia in there. I think he's one into. There's a good welterweight that Eddie's got coming through. I forget his name at the minute. But the welterweight's always been a very, very strong division. Yeah.
Since you brought that to our attention, it's an interesting thing when a fighter has to leave the ring, and now you've found a home kind of in the boardroom, if you will, and promoting fighters as we've discussed. But what is it that kind of brought you out of that darkness, and how much is being a promoter and dealing with other fighters allowing you to stay happy and healthy?
Well, my ex-girlfriend became pregnant, and it wasn't planned. And it became a good thing in the end, because I had a little baby girl and I hold her in my arms, and I thought, come on, Ricky, it's not about you sulking now. I said, you've got a little baby now, and it's about you looking after your kids and providing for your kids. So that's what really got me on track. And people say, how did you get out of it? And everyone has their own reasons, but that was my reason, and I got fit and healthy. And the reason why I was so depressed from retiring from boxing, because you always think you've got one more. I made a comeback. It wasn't a successful one, but I got it out of me. I got it off my chest and out of my system, if you like, and then I could move on to the next stage of my life, which is bringing my kids up and trying to bring the next champion through. So I've never looked back since, to be honest with you. So it's I blame it all, put it all on my little daughter being born. Millie, 6 years of age she is now, and it wasn't planned, but obviously someone up there used it in order to get me out of trouble. When believe you me, it did. I've never looked back.
You've got some young fighters that you've mentioned, and you'd hope they'd come through for stardom. Lucas Brown's got a hell of a shot at stardom on Saturday night. What would you say to your fighters, and any fighter really, that is embarking on stardom or having some success already, to avoid those kind of pitfalls and not have to go into that dark space in the first place?
I think sometimes they are unavoidable, but the best thing is you've got to try and keep positive. if you get beat, in your career, it doesn't mean your career's over. A boxing career is where you finish. Is not where you start. It's where you finish. And people have proved, like Dylan White, in the top of the bill here, that you can get beat by Anthony Joshua, but if you keep going at it, you can come back and good things can happen. And I think the main things is look at the positives you've got in your life. Full stop. Not just from what you're doing from a sport perspective, but what you're doing in general. And surround yourself by good people. Never get above your station, I think, and hopefully if you always do that, you won't end up in that place. But yeah.
Well, we're happy to have you back, Ricky. It's a pleasure to see you happy and promoting big fights. That's a big deal. Before I let you go, I'm going to try to get you an opinion on a couple of fights that we expect to be upcoming. First of all, Triple G and Canelo rematch. Huge fight, both sides of the pond. Everybody knows about this fight. How do you see that shaking out?
I think Triple G probably underperformed a little bit. I think if there's anyone that can adapt in the fight, I think he's very, very good. He's a power puncher, obviously, Golovkin, but he's technically a lot better than what people give him credit for. I think he can go away, work on things and come back, where I think Canelo is Canelo, and I think Canelo, you'll get the same. And no disrespect to him, I think you'll get the same Canelo. I think technically he's a very, very clever fighter, Golovkin, and I think he'll go back to the gym and come back with a better game plan. Having said that, to boost Canelo's chances, Golovkin didn't look too great against Jacobs, did he? Was it Jacobs he fought?
Yeah, Danny Jacobs.
He fought. Yeah, that was another nip and tuck one, and he didn't look too clever there. So this sign of invincibility that Golovkin has gone now.
Who'd you have win in the first fight?
I thought Golovkin. Yeah, But yeah, I mean, it's the challenge. Golovkin has shown little flaws in his against Jacobs and against Canelo. We went for so long thinking he was untouchable, and now he can be touched, and that's what will give Canelo confidence. But I think I'll go for Triple G. Yeah.
Now your guy Lucas Brown could have a shot at Deontay Wilder or Anthony Joshua should he be successful Saturday night. But everybody wants to see those two guys face each other. If they were to get in the ring with Joshua, Wilder, how do you see that fight shaking out?
To be honest with you, Wilder has career-ending power, doesn't he? Like life-ending power. Is that frightening? Heaven, I hope that never happens. But I mean, that's the type of power that he possesses in that right hand. I think technically, Anthony Joshua is better than him in every department. From a little boxing ability, from a defence, he's more of an all-rounder. But if Wilder hits him with that right hand, it's anyone with that right hand. It is what it is, and it's when you've got, and Joshua, you wouldn't like one on the chin of Anthony. So I think it'd be one of them in the heavyweight division with big punches such as that. You wouldn't like to put your house on it. But if I had my last dollar,
yeah,
I'd probably go with Joshua.
And lastly, Ricky, one of your old rivals who's still at it, Floyd Mayweather, has managed to bring an MMA guy into the squared circle, the ring, and we've seen what happened there in the boxing. And now he's kind of teasing like he's going to go into the octagon, into the cage. Well, what do you think about that? How do you think that shakes out if he should face McGregor in the cage?
Well, I can't. McGregor showed in the cage, when he was in the cage, he could box a little bit. But Mayweather's never showed in the ring he can brawl a little bit. So I can't see how that, can. I mean, Mayweather is very underestimated up close. Against me, when I got close to him, he was very good up close, to be honest with you, So he can do it. But in the cage, when the grappling comes in and stuff like that, I don't think. I think. I can't see it happening if the truth be known. You never know. To be honest, you'd have never thought that Conor McGregor and Mayweather would have fought in the boxing ring. So who knows? But I can't see it happening.
You rate Floyd as the best ever?
Certainly one of the best ever. Most definitely the best I've fought. And I think everyone have their own preference to who they think. Some will have Robinson, some will have Mayweather, some will have Ali and that. But he's up there in the top. He'll be up there in my top three. Absolutely.
Well, you've been in my top three to talk to. It's been a great honor and a pleasure to talk to you, Ricky Hatton. Radio Raheem with Ricky Hitman Hatton.